Hey everybody, we're getting some questions about what can we do? That's the question. I get that a lot. What is somebody that doesn't have much? There was a guy in the comments asked me, he said his body was giving out on him, and
he's broke financially.
He's broke financially. He's just in the dumps, and I really want to speak to him and everybody that feels like that. And I'm going to give you some stuff that we've done because we've lived this. I've never bought new trucks. I bought one in my whole life when I was a kid, and I learned my lesson. We really try to live within our means. You're looking at a wood pile behind me because that's what I heat our house with, because I have plenty of wood on my property, and I like the way it feels. Really.
Yeah.
I like radiant heat, and I'll have a wood burning stove in every house from now on. But there's a few things that we can talk about today that's going to help, and I'm going to give you some solutions. I'm going to give you some marriage advice at the end of this. And just a heads up, this isn't going to be fun for everybody.
No.
Nobody likes to talk about saving money. And my theory all along was, I don't want to save money. I want to make more money. That way I don't have to save it, But truth is, if you can save 18%, that's more than you can make just about investing anywhere. And that's what you get when you pay off a credit card. And we're going to talk about 5 signs you're doing better financially than the average American.
Well, I just want to speak. I think a lot of people are in this situation, and sometimes we get on the channel and we talk about investing in precious metals or investing in real estate or investing, and that is sometimes outside of the realm of a lot of people. And we get comments saying, okay, well, I can't do that right now. Where do I start? What can I do in the situation that I'm in now? And that's a lot of Americans. Well, actually, a lot of people across the whole entire globe. And so Chris and I were talking about it. We're like, if you were in this situation, what would you do? And these are some signs that shows how actually paycheck to paycheck that people live. And then we want to talk about some of the stuff that we've done.
And if you're one of these people, look, this isn't to insult anybody.
No.
This is legit what I have done and what I would do if I put myself in your shoes.
Yep.
Or whoever needs to hear this. This is exactly what we do. But first, let's go over a few of the facts. And this is crazy. I'm shaking. It's so cold out here.
It is cold. This is 5 signs that you are doing better financially than the average American. And when Chris read me these stats, I was like, whoa, America, we're living paycheck to paycheck.
If you have more than $4,500 in savings,
yeah. If you have
more than half of Americans, 51%, have $5,000 or less stored in their savings accounts.
That's a savings, you guys, not a checking, a savings.
Additionally, 35% had $1,000 or less saved.
That's scary.
If I was in that group, I would start cutting my wants aggressively. I want a coffee from Starbucks in the morning. That would be gone. I would never walk into a convenience store again unless I absolutely had to. Pay at the pump. Don't go in there.
That's right.
Forget about convenience. This is time to go. You got to make your mind up. I'm going this way, whatever it takes.
Well, that's some things. But let's continue with the stats because we'll get carried away with the different.
Okay, I get fired up.
He does get
well, this is the way I have to look at it.
Yep.
I have to. You just got to make your mind up. If you have more than $30,000 in your 401k, according to Vanguard,
How America Saves in 2022, the report, they basically, their ages 34 to 44 was only 36,000, and then 45 to 55 was only 61,000. And you guys, a lot of you guys are losing that right now, unfortunately, in your 401ks and your IRAs and all that. I know because I've talked to you personally. So that's also another scary stat.
If you're in your mid-30s and you have more than $36,000 in your 401k, you're doing better than most of your peers. Can you cover an emergency of more than $2,000? The Motley Fool survey found 47% of Americans have an emergency fund they can tap into. Yeah, it's just 47% that could get a $2,000 emergency, take care of it right now.
And $2,000, you guys, that's not a lot.
That's nothing today.
No.
If you have less than, this one right here, I don't understand. If you have less than $6,500 in credit card debt, guys, I'm gonna lay this out. You can't make that return anywhere else. 18%, 20. If I was in that predicament right now, I would do whatever it took to pay that off. I would probably consolidate onto a new credit card for 0% interest for however many months it is, and do whatever it takes within those months to get it paid off. I'm talking about selling something, side hustle, flipping garage sale items, get creative, whatever you have to do to get out of this, because what we're looking at in 2023 is going to make 2022 look like a walk in the park, I think.
I'm afraid so.
I don't know
I
that.
hope not, but I'm afraid so.
I hope not too, and nothing's for sure. Maybe it'll be prosperity and beyond, but I really do think we're coming into hard times, and being in credit card debt is just not, it's not an option in my opinion. You know, we live in a society where if you don't have it, then you can just borrow to get it.
Right.
And just remember, all those people that are loaning you money are making, that's how they make their money, by loaning you money.
Yep.
And they're gonna make a bunch of it.
Yeah, because most people aren't even paying off their credit cards. They're paying the bare minimum, and some people stop. And on a side note right there, I actually went to college, so I had school loans. And what I did once I got out of college, because the school loans are so high, the interest rates, and if you pay that minimum, you're going to be paying forever. So I went and found a really, really low interest rate, and I consolidated it. Only had a little bit, just so you know. I worked and I paid almost all my student debt in with cash. Never used a credit card, but did have to take out a few loans. I turned around and rolled that over into a really low interest, because student loan debt will ding you on your credit history, and I was able to pay it off in a couple of years. So that's just a side note, but people that do have student loans, because they will ding you on that.
But you worked your way through college.
I did.
I mean, that's...
I did. I worked days. I worked 60 hours a week. I went to school on the evenings and weekends. Yes, I had no life for a few years, but I did it.
Yeah, and that's... And even after we were married, I was, you know, doing the normal things. I was hunting and fishing on the weekend and doing all those fun things. I quit that,
Yep.
all of it. I quit all recreational activities. I started putting all my time, which is your most valuable asset, into learning how to do rental properties, into learning how to make money. That's where you have to, nobody can, I wish I could just sit up here and say, hey, just do this. This is all you have to do. Because I have been around the world and asked the wealthiest people I know, what can I do? What can we do? They don't have that answer. Nobody does.
There's no magical answer. You have to dig,
You
learn.
have to figure it out on your own.
And you have to sacrifice sometimes.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yep.
I'll help you any way I can. But what I have to offer isn't, hey, this is it, do this. I've got some really good ideas. I've got some wrote on the back of this paper. But a lot of it's right on the front. Boost your savings, you know. Don't have credit card debt at all, none, zero. If you cannot pay your credit card off at the end of the month, do not have a credit card.
Do not use it.
Just forget about it. Now, the last one was your total net worth is at least $100,000. Now, this is important. The number's not important. The important thing is to measure your wealth. If you're going to build something, anything, your body, a project, you know, anything, your wealth, you have to measure it.
Yep.
And that's how you do it every month.
Yes.
Every month she measures it for me.
Well, this is actually where we kind of go into, so once we want to make sure we clearly state we are not financial advisors, because we are just people that have lived through this, and this is some of the stuff that we do regularly, some of it more extreme than others. And this is number one, what we started doing. One, we started doing a financial statement every single month. And sometimes I do it throughout the month just to kind of keep us updated of what's going on. Second of all, you have got to figure out where your money is going every single month, every penny. That's when he came to me years ago. We started this like 12 years ago. We had a nice big house. You were making really good. And you're like, where is our money going, Stacey, at the end of every month? Do you remember that?
Yeah, you cannot do all those things and expect to have money at the end of the month.
Yeah, to invest and do passive income. And so I sat down, and for years now, I'd say 12 plus years, maybe more, I have a spreadsheet. And I can tell you from year to year, like he'll come to me sometime and he'll say, hey, what was our electricity bill a year ago? Because we kind of compare to see, you know, how we're spending, what we're doing. I have a spreadsheet, and I know exactly where every single penny of our money goes. And when he comes to me, we say, oh, we can cut this out. We can do this. We can do this. You've got to know where your money is going, every penny of it.
And you're going to be amazed. And I got some hacks on the back of this I want to get into, but.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
The number one thing I want to tell you guys before you do anything at all, when you get that money, your paycheck, wherever you're getting that money from, the number one thing you need to do is you need to tithe.
Yeah.
And I believe that with all my heart. Chris and I, we have tithed all of our lives, and we did that first.
You don't have to get anything else right.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the perfect Christian. That's the only thing you can test God on. Test Him. Test God with that. Give 10% and see what happens.
All right, so some
Okay,
tricks that we've
yeah,
done. So the number one
this is
thing,
gonna be
well,
fun.
two things. So just you guys remember, you need a financial statement. You need to know what you're worth. I have a dummy down version if you want it. I'll email it to you. And you need to do some kind of document, spreadsheet, whatever you want to do. And you need to know every single month where your money is going so you'll know where to cut cost.
All right, so is everybody having fun? It doesn't sound like very much fun. But
We've lived it.
I'm going to give you some tips that I did yesterday and something I've done today to save money. We didn't buy each other Christmas presents.
Nope, we didn't. I've got everything I need. I'm blessed.
Now, I know that's not an option for some people, but if you do have to do that next year, make it a thoughtful gift. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And if you got to spend a lot of money to make her happy, then maybe you need to have a talk with her. The second thing, fast.
Yes.
Stop eating. That's what that means. Oh, well, I have to eat. What, and think about it. That's what I've done today. I've not ate a calorie today, where it's about 1 o'clock here. I've probably saved, I remember
You had
when,
a cup of coffee and that's it.
yeah, a cup of coffee that I ground up and made myself.
Right. Yeah, we didn't go to Starbucks and buy a fancy cup
No.
of coffee. That's another thing, you guys.
Just think about that just for a second. I know people are going to say, oh, I can't just not eat. Yes, you can. Most people have enough fat hanging off of them to last a long time. I'm serious. Those are calories that you can consume off your body and save in the month, in physical assets. You can buy a piece of silver every day just by not eating till lunchtime.
Or go buy food. Go buy some extra clean food from the grocery store that you can cook with.
And cook your food at home. That's another really, really good one. Stop going out to eat right now. If you're in this kind of predicament, forget about it. Forget about eating.
Well, we did when we started 12, 13, 14,
about
whatever
eating.
it was. Forget about it.
I understand you got to eat, but I'm serious.
No,
Think
it is.
about it. I started saving $40 a day by fasting.
And we figured that out when we did the spreadsheet. I was like, oh my goodness, look how many times we're going out to eat. Look what it cost us. And truthfully, the food wasn't even that good sometimes.
I was stopping at McDonald's in the
Yep.
morning and getting my whatever kind of choking puke make me sick there was. And then at lunchtime, I'd go out with everybody and spend $20 at lunch, not to mention the fuel there and back.
Right? And you were buying ice in summertime.
Buying all these things. And if you just cut all that out,
Yep.
don't eat till after lunch. It's easily done. You'll lose weight and you'll save money.
And not only that, but you guys, fasting does something to your mind. You become so sharp and clear. I do it often. I do it because of my
if you've-
lupus a lot.
If you've
but-
got ADD or anything like that,
It's great.
it
So there's just a tip to save money.
helps a lot. Okay,
Insurance. We've harped on this so many times, but I just saved money again. I switched again. And I tell my people when I switch, I don't like it has nothing to do with you guys. I may go back to you. I try to create relationships with them, but shop around. Check your insurance.
if you haven't done it in the last 3 years,
You need to do it.
you'll probably save a lot of money just by shopping around. You got to keep those insurance guys accountable. They'll creep it up on you, and you just got to go out of your way to do it because it's a pain in the butt to do.
It is, because you have to switch everything over and you got to pay up front again and got to wait for the refund to come in. But it's worth it. Do it. Just take the time and do it. That's another one.
And I'm going to mention this again. I got it written down. Don't go inside the gas station.
Yes.
Forget about convenience store food.
Right.
That hot box food only makes you sick and broke.
Yep, it does.
It's actually, and after you get sick, it really makes you broke.
Yeah, it does.
Carpool. Ask a friend, ask a coworker. All these things. We're talking, so you fasted to lunch. You saved on fuel with your coworker, probably $40, $50 for the week. You're already at, what, $20, $40 a day
Right.
for
Yep.
5 days a
Yep.
week.
You're talking
And
about
then-
$100 a week, you guys. It
Oh
can
man,
add
more
up
than
super
that.
fast. Yeah.
More than that. I'm thinking you can save $200 a week just by doing those things. Change your oil and turn your own wrenches if you can.
That's a hard one. For ladies, that's hard. So I have to get mine done. But you can
Well,
shop
I
around and
know-
find
I
the
know it
cheapest
is.
places.
But you can also not do what they say you need. Case in point, I took my work truck up to,
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to say the name,
Right,
but anyway,
right.
They wanted to charge me $7,000 to fix injector sleeve. And I was like, whoa, well, let me just see what the deal is. That doesn't sound right. Well, they were wanting to replace that and everything else. I want to take the heads off and all this stuff. I said, no, there's a tool that you can use to do that. No, you don't have to do all that other stuff. And they acted like they didn't know, but I'm pretty sure they did. And the bill went down to $3,000.
Yep.
I mean, that is, so don't just pay what people tell you to. Say, no, wait, let me think about that. And call around and see what the deal is and then say yes or no. Don't just do what they say, because I'm telling you, everybody's trying to get all your money.
They are. And just one quick side note, when we're talking about that kind of stuff, this is personally what we've done. You might not have to take that vacation this year. You might have to just say, hey, I'm going to stay home. You can learn to take vacations within your maybe local traveling distance. And Chris and I, for several years, we didn't. We sucked it up. We did not take vacations. We socked away money. We worked, and it's paid off.
Really, the goal is to save about 30 or 40% of your paycheck. That's really,
If you can get it down to that.
50 is what I'd like for you to do, but that means you're going to have to cut all that other crap out. And if you can't do that, then save at least 20 or save something. And how you want to save it, if you want to save it in gold and silver, fine. But, you know, if you're in this kind of predicament, don't even think about that. Or you think about getting out of the hole.
Right.
How can you heat your house cheaper? Right. How can you save on electricity? Cut the lights off. You know, get creative.
Oh, you even stopped plugging up your welding.
I stopped plugging up my welding truck in the wintertime when I wasn't going to use it because it uses a lot of electricity. I used to just leave it plugged up. Anything that makes heat, remember this, anything electric that makes heat takes a ton of electricity. It's like a direct short. So really, but it'll help you. Once you get all that stuff on a piece of paper, you say, oh, our electricity bill's here. Well, let's see if we can cut it by 20%. Let's, you know, that's the goal, and see if you can hit it. Food, you know, can you cut back on the type of food? Going out to eat is so expensive and the food is crappy. It's not good for you 90% of the time. You can do a better job at the house and it's cheaper.
Clothes is another thing. I'm telling you guys, some of these people, they go and they buy the most expensive clothes. And if you've got the money, good for you. But we're talking to people that are trying their best to cut back. They're trying to figure out where they can save money, what they can do so that they can start investing and start looking to do passive income. And man, clothes, women, your clothes, I'm going to have some women get upset at me, but you guys check and see what you're spending. You can get things cheaper elsewhere. You don't have to get your nails done all the time. And just, you guys look where you're spending your money. And I think it will shock you.
Especially if you got friends that gift you clothes.
Yeah, oh, thanks, I know. I just got gifted some clothes.
Yeah, that really made her day.
It did. It did. Thanks, Jen.
New cars, you know, where we sit on that. But my dad, I really kind of learned a lot of this from him. He always drove, you know, just fair to middling cars. And he bought a Toyota Corolla about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, for $7,000. I think it had like 17,000 miles on it.
Gets great gas mileage.
Great fuel mileage. He drives it every day. And that's, you know, one of the many things that I learned from him, but that's the way I have treated my vehicles. I bought my last work truck for $3,500 and I made over $1 million in it.
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to have the best. Do not worry about keeping up with the Joneses. They're going to have to keep up with you later because you're going to have so much wealth and so many assets that pay you to own them.
And take care of what you have. Take care of it. Just like Chris is, you know, he always makes sure that my tires are good, and I make sure my oil's changed at the proper time, and different things like that. Take care of what you have. I think it's important too. A lot of people buy stuff. They'll even buy a brand new boat and just let it sit out and ruin.
I've never understood that either.
Yeah.
That people buy a really expensive boat and then leave it outside.
Yeah.
That's just and then they'll have a note on it and it won't be worth half of what they bought, you know.
Yeah. And never stop learning, you guys. We are always learning. I learn from things that I look online. Well, for example, in the last couple of years, so Chris and I, we got married, and I quit my job, as a lot of you guys know. Well, I'm not the person to just sit and do nothing. That's boring. So what did I do? I got online. I took a real estate class. Real estate obviously is not the best time to get in real estate right now, but there's other things that you can do online. You can take classes online. When you are free, you're able to do it. A lot of this stuff is so cheap. I learned how to do patents. Now I know how to file patents for Chris. What are all the other things I've learned to do? I don't know, just different things you can take online that it will just continually, it broadens your ideas of what you can learn to do, how you can produce income. And like Chris says, go to these garage sales, go to these estate sales, go to different things, flip them. Find a piece of furniture. I know a guy right now, that's what he does. He gets pieces of furniture that are like beat up. He redoes it. He redoes the, I can't even think, what's the word? He refinishes them, thank you. And he turns around and sells them. And it's a good little side gig. He said a hustle.
What about the dog crap store?
Yeah, so we got also a call, because we're talking about side hustles, just things you could just think of that give a little extra income. A guy started noticing in these neighborhoods, there were a lot of dog poop in the backyard. And so he started going to these neighborhoods and saying, hey, for a couple bucks, or I forget however much he said, I'll come by once a week and I'll clean up the dog poop in your backyard. He has turned this into a business now. I think they said he has 15 employees and I forget how many trucks. So you guys, that was one small side hustle. He was just looking for a little extra cash that turned into a great business. So you always have to be thinking, it might be something small today, but it could turn into something.
Start learning what the wealthy do. The wealthy constantly are learning they're improving on themselves constantly. They don't think like the average person does. They don't. I mean, every wealthy person I know that came up from nothing drove junk. You know, they invested, and people used to make fun of me at work for driving an old welding truck. It didn't bother me a bit. I mean, I didn't like it, but I was just thinking, yeah, I don't have a truck note.
Yep.
You do.
That's right.
You know, you're working just to fund that truck and your other useless habits.
And your money was going straight to where we were investing.
It's going straight to our investments.
Yep.
So that's, I know it's all about, everybody pretty much knows a lot of this stuff.
It's common sense, but it's requiring sacrifice. And
But
I think that's the hard part.
I want to motivate people to do it. I would love
Yes.
to see people do it. You know, the outcome is so worth it. You know, when you've done it for a couple of years and you've said no, learn how to say no. You know, hey, go out and eat with us. We're going to go have Buffalo Wild Wings. No, I need to save that $50.
Yep.
You know, and that pile will start getting bigger quickly. You know, and this whole time you're learning. You're taking what the money that you did make, and you're taking a course on how to make more money, and you're tithing. You know, I mean, this is a growing thing that everybody has to kind of learn, because nobody can tell you. Not one single person can tell you what to do. But you're smart. I know you can do it, and you'll figure it out. And put in the comments a side hustle that is a good idea. That way, the people that are watching the video after you go hit the like button can get in the comments and see, you know, some ideas.
Or even ways to save money. There might be something that you guys think of that I haven't thought of.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd love to hear how you guys, you know, you cut back, you save money. But yeah, we did for years. And I'm very fortunate that I have someone that is willing to do that and not just go and blow and have us in debt. There's a nice feeling when you go to bed at night that you know you have a little bit of security or a little bit of, you know, stability versus living paycheck to paycheck. And we've been there, and that's scary.
Yeah, that's the marriage advice, by the way. Don't marry a lazy person. Sorry. I am dead
That's
serious.
good. That's really, really
Do
good.
not marry a lazy person.
Yeah.
You will pay for it over and over.
Yeah. And women, go help your men. Get out there and help them. Don't go spend that money. Don't rack up that credit card. Please don't do that. I know the kids need presents, and I get it, but a lot of you guys that you went out there and you blew money on Christmas presents and you put it on a credit card or layaway and you're having to pay it off, man, my heart breaks for you. It really does, because now you're going to be paying that off for months and months, even if you get it completely paid off. So just learn to conserve, learn to sacrifice. It's worth it.
Now, that's what we did.
Yep.
And there's one thing that these wealthy people have in common. I don't know any of them that just invest. That's all they do. All of them have businesses that pay them. They have several different businesses that pay them, and then they'll take that money and invest. You know, so remember that if you just have one source of income and it goes away, where would you be? You know, that's how I try to think.
We were there, and that's what made us wake up many, many years ago.
Yeah, and it was, you know, it's so hard to go from hot to cold. You know, when you're doing pretty good and all of a sudden that gets taken away, and you have to drastically go down because you don't get to choose what you sell. You don't get to choose to stay in your house if you can't afford it. You don't get to choose to keep your car because they will take it from you. There's going to be a lot of that going on, and the people that are living within their means are going to be able to buy those things, you know, and hopefully boost the economy, and we come out of this a lot faster than I think. But
anyway,
I hope that helps somebody,
Me too.
guys, and thanks for being here. If you have anything you want to ask or anything that you think you could help the community, leave it in the comments.
I love it. Yeah.
All right, guys. Have an awesome, awesome day. We'll see you in the next one. Later.